My name is Rick van Nieuwenhuyse. I'm the President and CEO of NovaCopper. Our trading symbol is NCQ. We're traded both in Toronto and on the New York MKT exchanges. Our flagship project is the Upper Kovac Mineral Project located in northwest Alaska. It's a copper-focused project. We have 3 resources already defined, all of them high grade, and I think that's what makes our story very different from your typical copper story. Is we're dealing with an average of about 3% copper, both open pitable and underground mineable copper resources. Alaska is a great place to do business. It's a resource-focused state. It's a state that actually has a lot of wealth, so it's not a bankrupt state like a lot of the rest of the United States. We're partnered with NANA, which is the Northwest Arctic Native Association. It's one of the regional native corporations in Alaska. And they own the Red Dog mine, which Teck has been operating for some 30 years, so they understand mining. The Northwest Arctic Borough, the local municipal government, the Northwest Arctic Borough, works hand in hand with NANA to encourage resource development. So I think we're working in a great environment. We've got a great partnership with NANA. We actually have a business arrangement with them. We lease land from them, and they have a royalty in our project, as well as we're spending exploration dollars on their project, which is one of the 2 projects that I mentioned earlier that we've already developed a significant copper resource on. So great partners and great location. Well, obviously, copper is a commodity that's just used in your daily life all the time. You probably don't realize as much the amount of copper that you actually use in your daily life. It's about 20 kilograms a person in North America, which is a substantial amount. It's basically, China's going to consume as much as North Americans are. They're currently consuming about 5 kilograms, so they're going to work their way up. So there's a huge demand for copper. And again, where we set ourselves apart from most other copper companies is grade. The average grade being mined in the world today of copper is 0.5%. One of our deposits is 7% copper equivalent, so that's almost 10 times the average grade of what's being mined out there. We have several other deposits, and when you combine them all, we're well over 100 million tons, about 3% average grades. So in our business, they say grade is king, and high grades translate to low operating costs and profits for shareholders. So I think that's what really sets our story apart. We've had a busy year in 2012 doing a tremendous amount of drilling. We just came out with a resource on our 3rd deposit we call the South Reef. It was about 43 million tons of copper, averaging 2.5% copper. So that's the beginning of a whole series of news releases related to developing that resource, moving it towards a feasibility study. We have some metallurgical results coming out. These are going to be high-grade copper concentrates. That's very attractive to Korea, Japanese, and Chinese smelting organizations. So we're looking for that kind of a product. We have an agreement with the state of Alaska on developing a working agreement on a road where they'll build the road and we'll pay it back as an operating cost. So that's a big news event. We're also looking at one of our deposits. I mentioned we have 3. Yeah. One of them is we did a PEA, preliminary economic assessment, as an underground mine at 4,000 tons a day. We're re-looking at that with some new metallurgy and some better recovery information, and now looking at it as an open pit. So we'll be able to double the throughput on that and significantly increase the net present value of that project by shortening the mine life, increasing the throughput. So those are all news events that will happen in the next, over the course of the next 6 months. Plus we start drilling again in May, so we'll have new drill results. We'll be expanding the resource and doing some additional drilling to continue to add pounds of copper. We're well on our way to putting 10 billion pounds of copper together, which is a very substantial amount of copper. Just put that in context, the Noranda district, which is one of the most famous districts in Canada, has yet to produce 10 billion pounds of copper. So we're starting at that level. So very significant resource, and very good grade, and located in a great country with stable politics and a great jurisdiction to do business. These are difficult markets, no question about it, particularly for the resource sector. But when you're looking at, obviously getting in at the bottom is not a bad time for investors to get in and be looking at things. But I think investors should be discerning about looking for quality. There are a lot of jurisdictions to look in the world. The U.S. in North America are safe jurisdictions, a rule of law. We have an agreement that will be recognized by not only the state of Alaska, but also by the Nano-Regional Corporation, Alaska Native Corporation. When we invest further capital to develop the project and eventually build a mine, the government's not going to take it away from us. That happens very often in other jurisdictions. So, and again, I would always point to quality. High-grade copper anywhere in the world is always a good thing. High-grade copper in a safe jurisdiction is golden.